Hi everyone, welcome back to Ghost Prime Transformer Reviews. Today I'll be taking a look at Warfare Cybertron Siege Leader Class Optimus Prime Galaxy Upgrade. Now this figure pays homage to the Cybertron Leader Class. I believe it was Leader Class. I don't know if they had Leader Classes then. A very large Optimus Prime figure that came out in the mid-2000s. He is a new, smaller version of that character that does actually improve on the design in some way. Not as gimmicky. It doesn't have a Cyberplanet key. This one is a retool and repaint of the Ultra Magnus from the Siege line. So he transforms relatively the same, and he has the same similar arm pieces, such as the shoulder pieces, the leg pieces. You can even tell the leg design here is the same as the Ultra Magnus. They didn't bother to actually retool that. They retooled a lot of the pieces on the side, comes with the same guns. Overall, he's a decent figure. Mine happens to have one, it wasn't like that when I first got it, but after having it just 2 days, his leg is fairly floppy here. Now it's only on one side, as you can see, and it's not that bad, but it'll hold a pose. But it's getting roll loose real fast. Other than that, he's got some fantastic detail on him. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. Alright, here's the box. He comes in a standard Warfare Cybertron Siege Trilogy box. He has a beautiful artwork on the side. Same here, with you have a blacklight responsive Cybertronian lettering. Leader Class Optimus Prime. There's the side imagery. It's on all the boxes. On the back, you have the truck mode, the fire truck mode, the full-on upgraded Prime mode, and his smaller inner robot mode. He seems to use a brighter red right here for this than he does actually have on the figure itself. Not too bad, but I kind of like him in the brighter red. It kind of goes with the yellow for me. So, bottom, legal stuff, and that's about it for the box. Inside the box comes with instructions, which details the transformation steps of the figure. They're fairly large, as you can see. There's a lot of steps to this figure. A lot of different things you could do. And here he is in his robot mode. He comes packaged in his robot mode, very similar to this. These pieces here, his guns, are not connected to his hands in the box, and neither is his weapon. He has his weapons separately. This is his gun that he comes with, which you could peg into various ports. You can have it on his shoulder, or in the tip of the gun, the big long gun, or he could hold it in his hand, like so. He also has the two guns on that can come off on the side here. Same ones that came with Ultra Magnus. They don't have any extra detailing on them. They're exactly the same. This gun can also be placed. Now this is just sort of maybe a coincidence, but you could put it like that. So you could have it as an arm cannon, which is kind of neat. Kind of fits in any of these ports here. Now this version of Optimus Prime homages the Cybertron Optimus Prime, which was the third upgraded form of the Armada Optimus Prime. It's a very, very decent figure. He definitely does have some of that wear, and the best place that he does the wear is on his chest here. You see the brushwork is nice, and it looks like it is kind of worn down. He has some also on his arms and on his feet. And this is kind of where they don't do a good job, I think, is on the feet. He kind of looks like he just sort of kicked a paint can, and it got all over his foot. Now he's kind of stuck with it there. Not super great. The detail is amazing on this guy. He has a lot of just sculpted in detail. This detail is really, really good. And it's something we've come to really know with the Siege line is that they really go all out on the detailing for these figures. Just sort of left every little exposed piece detailed. There's nothing really flat or uninteresting about it. So he is, as I mentioned in the intro, he is a retool and very extensive remold of the Ultra Magnus figure from the Siege line. And here he is next to Siege Ultra Magnus. So as you can see right away, the legs are very similar, very much the same. These pieces here on the outside are not present on this figure, but it has the same inner plastic. The molding here is exactly the same as on Ultra Magnus. He has Ultra Magnus legs. I wish they would have changed this and retooled this, because to me this stands out in this design as Ultra Magnus. Otherwise, it's completely different. If they had changed this, it would have completely changed the look of the figure for me and made it a lot more like the original Cybertron Optimus Prime. Speaking of, here he is next to the original Galaxy Optimus Prime. For this, I'm going to have to pull back my camera. So here is the original Galaxy Optimus Prime. He is much, much smaller than this figure, as you can see. He doesn't have, as again, the legs are completely different. He doesn't have he doesn't hold the gun the same method. He has a little peg there instead. He doesn't have the piece where you could make him have a mouth in the back here. He doesn't have any sound gimmicks or anything like that. Pretty much just what you see is what you get here. No missiles that fire. He doesn't have any of the planet keys. But it's a good homage to this figure. He is definitely... They definitely look a lot alike. Sometimes even in pictures, I have to do a double take. I noticed the legs right away. He has those Ultra Magnus legs. I'm like, okay, so that is the Siege one. Now getting back in here, let's have a look at that head sculpt. This is, I think, one of the best head sculpts on the Siege line. This figure has two really nice Optimus Prime head sculpts. This is a beautiful head sculpt. The proportions on it are amazing. Just very nice. I definitely appreciate the artwork that went into these. So to get this guy back into his regular, smaller robot form, you first have to disconnect the pegs from the long guns on either side. And what you can do is you could put them up in the back. Like so. Take off his shoulder pieces. Oh, there we go. It was on there pretty tight. Leg pieces slide right off. The chest piece comes up, and the back piece, you just pull directly off and up. It has a connector here that connects directly to the back rail. I just want to show you this real quick too. Speaking of the detail, even places you don't really see have sculpted detail in it. Very cool. So now you have the robot without a head. Take down the waist piece, turn it around, move it up so you have this detailing here. Arms come out off these pegs. Chest cavity opens, head comes out, chest cavity closes, snaps, arms come back around, heel spurs come out. And one thing you could choose to do is push this forward, this piece here up, push back, snap together, Make sure you have everything together. And there you have the robot mode. That's inner robot mode of the Galaxy upgrade Optimus Prime. Now, I like this. I think I'm going to be displaying him on my shelf this way instead of the full-on upgraded form because I already have the larger robot. I don't have a Prime that looks like this one. This chest is unique to this Prime. He definitely has the front chest of the Galaxy Prime, but doesn't split apart and become the shoulders. He has those full shoulders instead. And look at this head sculpt. It is a super nice head sculpt. Now, he does have his two guns that are attached to the leg pieces, and those just do come off. You could really put these anywhere. There's one of the little 5mm pegs. And you could pop these like at the back of the box. If I could get it in there. Ooh, it's tight. Either side. And he could dual wield his guns. Very cool. And yeah, he's a decent figure. He's got some okay articulation. He has the same articulation as the Ultra Magnus. A full 360 on the waist. Hips up with ratcheting. Now, the ratchets on mine are very soft. I don't know if you could really tell by the video, but super soft. Like, it's hard to say, like mushy almost. Very mushy ratchets. His knees are at 90 degrees. Legs come out like this. Twist the joint at the hip. Ankles. Shoulders all the way around, out, 90 degrees to the elbow. Through full 360, which is hindered by this piece, which you actually can remove. To get a full 360 on the wrist. Head is on a ball joint, which has limited up and down movement, but does full 360. So he has a pretty good range of movement on him. He really does. He is a very decent figure. Now, as I said, you could take these off. You could actually put these on the back, if you like. Kind of put them like so, on either side, so you can have him on his back instead of on his arms, if that's the way you wish. I believe the box art, the official way to do it, is to have him on his arms. Now, in this mode, he has a peg here, pegs in here, pegs on the shoulders, pegs on the feet, and you could technically use these too. You could get it's the same size as these holes, so you could actually get the guns to peg in there. Now, to get them into truck mode, transformation goes something like this. Remove the guns, remove the wheels from the side of his arms. You want to take the heel spurs and bend those down. Each leg goes up and pegs in here. You'll see a little peg right here. And there's a peg on the inside of the thigh. Comes up, pegs in. Legs peg together via this little doodad in the middle. The whole chest turns around. Actually, let's do this first. Move his arms out. Chest goes back. This piece that was on his back goes down. Now you turn everything around. Keep it extended like this. To put the head in, you open up the cab. Head goes back in, close it back up. The arms, this little tab here, will tab directly in this little back. You see on either side. The elbows at 90 degrees. Stick that in there. Turn the fist. I like to do that. Doesn't really matter either way. And just tab that in. Like so. And now you have a truck without front wheels. To get the front wheels, you take the pieces from his arms, fold these in on either side, and they tab in here. The front, this piece, this part right here, tabs into here. The tab and the little round piece tab into there. Just slide in like that. On either side. And there he is. Truck mode, fist sticking out the back. Now he does have some holes here, like on the shoulders. You can put guns there. You can put these guns on the side. And they pop off when you pull it. Kind of one of the drawbacks of having these pop on. You even have things holding his hand. For his backpack, you're left with this piece. Now, what you do here is you fold his chest piece in, fold that down, his head still stays there, just like that. Take the guns, fold them around, up. This piece here opens up. And one of the things you could do is like the original, is you could hold like that, kind of like his little battle station mode. One of the things you could do that with the original Prime too. The original Galaxy or Cybertron Prime. So these pieces connect to his arms. And they flip around. He's up like this, flips around. These pieces stay out the back here. These little two nubs. And this piece comes up, and there's a tab slot right there, and a piece right here, a little hook. And you just kind of force put that in. I turn his head around. Oh, you can't see that. There we go. I turn his head around like that. These pieces are sticking out like that. That's where the hands for Prime will go. So you have those there. Here are the leg pieces. Now, one of the things with leg pieces, if you're trying to transform this yourself without looking at the instructions, is there's a hinge here. That's not actually a functional hinge. You cannot open this. Don't try to open it. You will break it. Don't try to open it. Well, if you put enough force. Now, these pieces, I always forget how they go in. They go in, there we go, just like that. They actually slot in and stay in there, just like that. On either side, if you think about it as the Autobot logo goes out. Like that. I mean, it's not in as well. There we go. And then these pieces just tab together. Connect. Just like that. And where this goes is right on the back. So I always have a little trouble doing this. You see these little nubs here? They actually peg directly into these slots right here. And for me, it's actually really difficult to get them in there. So I kind of got to finagle it a little bit. Tab in, and then there's a tab here, and a tab in the middle. And you just kind of slide those in. And it actually creates a really, really tight bond in the back there. So for the front, you're left with this piece like this. So you take the cab, this piece where you slotted these little two slots together for the legs. There's a slot right here. Slide that in there. And that piece actually goes over the top of that piece. And in this part, there's a slot that slots directly into the back rail here, so it holds on. I don't want to break that, but it holds on pretty good. These pieces here, have the wings, have these two slots here that slot into the pieces on the legs. So you fold them in, slot them together on either side. Guns come down and rest on the cab, like so. Now these guns, you can kind of put them wherever you want. You can put them in the back if you like, or you can put them on the side, which is sort of reminiscent of where the original Cybertron Prime had his guns, which could fold out from in here. And here you have them in truck mode. He rolls pretty well in truck mode. Those pieces still aren't in all the way. He does have the fake tires here, which would have been nice if they were real. But overall, all in all, it's a nice looking truck mode. It's very, very similar to the original. This is very nice. It is a lot smaller. It's a decent figure. So in this mode, he does have peg slots here, here, 2 up here if you move these out of the way, 2 here for any extra weaponry. If you want to have the weaponizers on him, you could... Oh, he has 1 here, I forgot about. And that's also on his back. And the back of him looks very much like Ultra Magnus. So there he is. Overall, decent figure. Definitely a nice homage to the original. And I like him. I think he's pretty good. So that was Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime. This guy is a really decent figure. A ton of really good detail. As with all the Siege line figures so far, I've had some great sculpt work to them. Now, it's up to you if you decide you want this guy in your collection or not. If you already have the Galaxy Optimus Prime or the Cybertron Optimus Prime, then you could go either way. He's a smaller version of that figure. He has a different inner robot than any of the other Primes that come before it, which was the draw for me to get him. I collect Primes, so just having that inner robot look as like a different Prime with a different chest, I thought that was really cool, and that's the way I will be displaying him. And I'll do the fake base mode if I could fit it on my shelf. He doesn't take up a whole lot of room on a shelf, speaking of shelves, because he doesn't have that large wingspan that the original one has. So those are all good things, benefits to getting the smaller version. Otherwise, he's a really decent figure. I really like this guy. I think they did a really good job creating the Prime out of the Ultra Magnus. I did not expect them to do this Prime anytime soon. It would be nice to get some of the other Primes, like the Rid Prime, for example. I loved that Prime. So, if you see him, pick him up. If not, leave him be. So, as always, like, subscribe, hit the downvote button if you have to, and I'll see you next time.